Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. We're going to shift gears and head to Saturday action, take a look at Major League Baseball. We've got the New York Mets out on the West Coast playing at San Diego. Pitching matchup, guys, is Jason Vargas against Joey Lucchesi. And Vargas, this will be his first start of the season, makes a debut after being on the DL for 5 weeks. He fractured a bone in his glove hand, so it didn't affect his pitching, but obviously with the broken bone there, couldn't field. He's ready to go. He had a rehab start here in Vegas with the 51s. Went 66 pitches in that rehab start and ready to go on Saturday. I'll start with you, Brian. Jason Vargas, he's been around a long time. He's a journeyman pitcher, made a lot of stops, but this is one of those guys that was over in the American League for a long time and now making the National League switch. That's an angle that I like, something we're going to talk about in a video, down the road here that we're going to do today with some baseball handicapping tips. But a journeyman that's been around as long as he is, I don't know that he's going to really be baffling any hitters.
Well, he hasn't played in the National League since 2007 with the Mets. He actually had 2 games with the Mets, and then he came over to the American League. And for the most part of the American League, he was at Kansas City, which is a good pitcher's ballpark. Now he goes over to the National League. I view Jason Vargas very similar to Josh Tomlin of the Indians. When he's on, he's good. When he's not on, he can be hit. And both of those guys don't strike out a lot of batters. And that's the advantage you have here if you're San Diego, is you're going to have a chance to put the ball in play against them, whereas Lucchesi's over 9 strikeouts per game at this point. And the interesting thing about him was coming into the season, and I talked about how I liked San Diego. I liked their minor league players. They had like 4 guys in the minor leagues that they thought could help this team, starting pitching-wise, in the next year or 2 years, and he was in the back end of that. He was either number 3 or number 4, and he's come off, and he's done great. Obviously, the guy they brought up yesterday, I believe, was one of those, and he just got bombed, and that happens. But so they've got a good amount of players here in the minor leagues that can come on and really finish off this pitching staff. Tyson Ross has been terrific. They've got a lot of good players coming up. But we're talking about this game right here, and I would rather have the guy who's going to strike some people out, which would be Lucchesi at San Diego. And although his ERA is really good right now, if you watch this first game against Milwaukee, I believe he went 5 innings, gave up 4 earned runs. The outfield made a disastrous play, just a bad route on one of the fly balls, which would have got him out of there. He would have only given up 1 run. So his ERA has been even better than what his actual ERA is.
Well, if you look at him, and when you see a young pitcher like Lucchesi that started the season on the roster, that tells you that, they like this kid. They brought him up, right away, not because a lot of times you'll see if they got a good prospect, they wait, till mid-season so it doesn't kick in,
Usually, well, Atlanta just brought up their best prospect today, so it's about this time.
Yeah, I never could understand the days on those contracts and stuff, all that. But this is a guy that came right out from the start. In 5 starts, he's got that ERA of 2.70. He's got a WHIP of 1.13. Very good for a young pitcher, a good strikeout to walk ratio, 29-8. So he doesn't put himself in bad spots with a ton of walks, but he's got the high strikeouts, which can get you out of jams, obviously. And one of the advantages that young pitchers have, first time around the league, nobody's, they're not familiar with him, so another advantage.
Brian talked about San Diego and how deep they were, on a podcast, the WagerTalk podcast we did with Dave Koch, and I know you and Dave are into the fantasies and going into the minor leagues. Dave had said that San Diego in 2 to 3 years could be the premier team in the NL because of their pitching staff. We talked about that, so he completely agrees with that staff. So when you're watching the San Diego pitchers come up, think about them a little more highly than you might some people when they get hurt and you're having a replacement. You look at Lucchesi, he does have a lot of strikeouts, so he hasn't pitched further than 6 innings. He has 2 games at 5 innings, 2 games at 6 innings, and with this pitch count, they're going to take care of where it is and watch it. He doesn't get past the 6 innings, so you're going to get to the San Diego bullpen, when he pitches. There's no question about that. But you look at the Mets. The Mets against lefties this year, they're only hitting .225, and they're number 28 in slugging against lefties, so they certainly struggled against lefties. So that certainly lines up for playing San Diego. But, I look at San Diego, and in their last 9 games, they've scored 10 and 13 runs in 2 games. The other 7 games, they've only totaled 18 runs, so about 2.5 runs per game. So, you know, this is a game where, you know, I look at Lucchesi and I think first 5 innings because the Mets struggle. It's the first time you're going to see this pitcher. He is a strikeout pitcher, and the way the Mets hit lefties, I like Lucchesi the first 5 innings for sure.
That's definitely the way to eliminate the bullpen for sure. And talking about pitch counts, Vargas is probably going to be on a pitch count too, first start, you know, of the season.
And Vargas is there just because Harvey was so bad. It's like they had to find a pitcher.
Well, no, they signed him in the offseason.
Would he have been their 5th starter?
He would have been.
And Harvey would have been out for the Mets?
Harvey would have been in. The Mets are pretty deep at starting pitcher. Problem is they have health issues all the time. There's so many other guys that get hurt. But going back to Lucchesi one last time, being a left-hander, we've talked about this in the past. When you bring up a left-hander, especially a guy that has his delivery is a little bit different. And San Diego's really built themselves. They got some under or side armers in their team. And
yeah,
things
what do
like
they call his? He has this pitch that his curveballs,
Screw. Yeah.
But it's a little bit different. And we've always, at least we've talked about playing the young left-handers when nobody sees them. And so you want to, until he plays a team for the second time, you want to continue to back him, at least at this point.
All right, good stuff, guys. Hey, I got a special going this week for you guys. If you want to come on board, you want to pick up a 14-day package, 2 weeks, all access. Normally that would cost $198. It's $99 per week. You can pick up a special this week. Use coupon code MARCO149, Marco and the number 149. You can pick up a 2-week special for $149. What do you get in those 2 weeks? Well, that's everything I release. All of my baseball, all of my basketball, and we are on a nice run. Last 26 days, 27 and 15 for a profit of 34%. Our baseball's off to a 16 and 8 start on the season. And again, I like to take underdogs and small favorites. I think I've had 2 plays this year that have been over 125. And last year, of course, our baseball, we netted 64% increase for our clients. So jump on board and don't forget, 2 weeks. That'll get you that first Saturday in May, and that would be the Kentucky Derby. Last year, a $390 investment wager on the Derby brought back $9,069. We're hoping to do the same this year. You'll get it in the all-access package. Check it out. And if you like these videos, guys, be sure to hit the thumbs up button for us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and be sure to share it with all your friends. We're going to be back with more here at WagerTalk.com.